Are we live? Awesome. Well, we're live, Dave.
We are live at Memorial Stadium, just above Fro Field.
Yes, welcome to a live edition of the Mizzou Storytellers podcast. I'm excited. It's beautiful weather. We're on the North Concourse. We're getting football in the spring.
Technically, it's not even spring. Spring starts on Tuesday, so this is an extra special edition of a spring football scrimmage before the spring. We like to do it early here, and we really lucked out with the weather. I mean, the fans are starting to fill out the east stands. It's going to be a great day. It's going to be a great podcast also because we've got some special guests. We've got some former Tiger players that are going to join us up here.
Yeah, just like how we do it, when we record, we got to keep some secrets.
Absolutely. So we're going to keep that a secret till they show up. And until then, what are we going to do? What are we going to talk about?
Well, should we start with the little game that you want to play this afternoon or today?
I'm not sure it's going to work.
Okay, but can you just tell them what it is?
Okay,
and then
so
we'll see.
when the Matter family goes out in public, and usually like the mall or the grocery store, I like to play a game where we get points for whoever knows the most people. And our kids have gotten really good because they know a lot of people. You have to know their name. It helps if they acknowledge your presence. And then maybe get a half point if you know their first name and not their last.
Yeah, so Dave and I were doing a little practice round, and he was like, I know that person. And I said, what's their name? And he only gave me the first name, which I think is cheating because I could just say any random person out here.
And we can't count coworkers because we've got a lot of those.
Well, yeah. But I think this is an unfair game for me because you've lived in Columbia and you have 70,000 followers on Twitter. I
not quite
do not.
70. It's more like 60, but I'm not counting.
But still, I have 2,500 and no one knows who I am.
Okay, so let's just play, and you don't get points for Tony
that's
Daniel.
Tony
No,
Daniel
it doesn't count. It doesn't count.
I think that should count. That's my first.
Okay,
friend.
I'll give you a point for Tony.
And he waved at me. So
I think he was waving at us.
All right, well, we'll just see if we play the game, and we'll see if anyone comes over and hangs out with us, and we'll see how many points we can collect. I want to touch on the fact that you had a very special ride today.
Did.
Here from the parking lot.
It was my first ever.
Your first ever. How long has the helmet cart been around?
I don't know. I'm the storyteller, but I don't know the story behind the helmet cart.
I don't either, but it's funny because when I first got hired here, everyone told me, oh, you are going to have to drive the helmet cart. And I said, I have no idea what you're talking about. And then I got here, and I now drive the helmet cart. It took me almost a year. I didn't drive it for 6 months because I was just like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
I have to earn it. But yeah, no. So Dave got to ride in the helmet cart.
It was a marvelous ride over here from the arena.
Yeah.
Nikki did a great job getting us here safe.
Yeah.
And maybe can we ride it later?
Yeah.
Downtown?
I don't know if it's allowed to go on the roads downtown, but we can ride it around campus.
I know people.
Yeah, you know people, so.
Yeah. What else we got?
I'm
happy you're back. You were gone all week.
I know. I was in Nashville.
For the SEC men's basketball tournament.
Yep. So it was a good trip. Wish we were there longer, but I had some SEC marketing meetings, so it was super interesting. Got to learn a little bit about stuff that we have going on in the marketing world. Kind of have some discussions about things, which was cool. I hadn't experienced that yet, so it was fun. It was a good time.
We are happy to have you back, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
We missed you around the office.
Yeah.
We didn't do an in-studio podcast because you were gone, but we were also preparing and prepping for today.
Absolutely. So
it's great to see the fans coming out. Truman's here. We've got Bounce House out on the concourse.
We have 5 bounce houses.
5 bounce houses.
So you have your options. Okay, so for those that are not here, you obviously do not know what bounce houses we have, but we have just your normal. We have 2 normal bouncers. We have it looks like a small slide, a big slide, and then a relay course. So Dave, if you were to go on one of these bounce houses, which one would you choose?
I'd go for the slide.
I think I would go for this one in front of us, which is it's kind of an obstacle course.
I might be too tall. I don't get to say that very often, but I think I might be too tall.
So my mom is super competitive, but she's a PE teacher, so she does all the field days and stuff like that. And she one time was doing an obstacle course, and she was going so fast that she actually gave herself the biggest egg on her head because she took her knee to her forehead when she was doing it. So they're dangerous.
That's
you
a
gotta
great
be careful
story.
out there.
Is your mom watching today?
She is. My mom hopefully is watching.
Hopefully you're watching live on Facebook at the
I know,
Mizzou
and she
Athletics
comes
account.
and visits in 2 weeks, so.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
Can't wait. Are we ready for our first guest?
Yeah, I think we are.
Is she here?
She's over there, so we'll grab her and get her on.
Okay, great. So today, the game kicks off at 1 p.m. The teams drafted black and gold teams the other day. You can find those rosters online. Hopefully they're around the stadium today. The first half is going to be like a very normal game between the black and gold. And all that fun starts at 1 o'clock. Hello. Welcome to Mizzou Storytellers. You get your headset on there, Melissa.
Yeah.
We have to properly introduce our guest today. Nikki, go for it.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
We've
can
got
hear
you.
us?
Hi. Yes, I can.
Are you so excited to be on the Mizzou Storytellers
I
podcast?
am. Thank you guys for having me.
Yes, so this is Melissa Wolf, Ticket Sales Retention and Service Associate. She's a native of Baldwin, Missouri. And Dave told me that this was important for the St. Louis people. She went to Marquette High School. That doesn't mean anything to me, but it means apparently a lot.
The answer doesn't mean so much. It's the question.
It's the
Because if you're in
question,
from St.
yeah.
Louis, we have to ask what high school you went to just because we have to.
But why?
It's just a thing, Nikki. Like,
It
you've
tells
been
you
here
the
for 3 years.
specific-
You got to know. If you're from St. Louis, you get to be asked what high school you went to.
Okay, well, I find it more important that she's one of 5 and they're all redheads and her parents are both redheads, and I think that's so cool. More important than her high school, but that's just my personal opinion.
Agreed. But it's just a thing we have to. She came prepared. She didn't even, she knew the question was
I
going to
know.
happen.
Well, dude, are you from St. Louis?
I
where,
am.
Where did you go to high school?
St. Louis U High.
Oh, okay. That's
Yes.
fair. See, I know so much about Dave now because he went to SLU.
See?
See,
Yeah.
but you're judging people based off
That's
of their
how
high
it
school.
works. That's
But
how
that's
it works.
just like,
How it works.
didn't your parents ever teach you don't judge a book by its cover?
No, because we
No.
lived
You're
in St.
judging-
Louis and we had to play the high school
By the
game.
high school.
That's how it works.
All right, Melissa, you started in August of 2023. You did not show Dave where the coffee machine, and he didn't show you where it was either.
We found it at the same
That's
exact
not
time.
true. I showed Dave where the coffee machine was, and I said that he was more than welcome to use it no matter what department
It
he
was
worked
like
in.
my second day,
Yeah.
which means it was probably Melissa's third day.
About right, yeah.
And I'm like, are you new? Yes, I'm new. Like, did they tell you where the coffee pot was? And she's like, no. I'm like, how about the printer? I'm still looking for that.
Oh,
So-
I didn't know that. I didn't
See?
find out
He
about
didn't.
that until about
That's
a month
a
ago.
big point of conversation is that Dave didn't know where the printer was, and so it's I'm hoping that when he gets to the year mark, it drops, but we still talk about it often. So, tell us a little bit about your role here at Mizzou Athletics.
So I'm on the ticket sales team. We handle all of the season tickets, single game tickets, and everything for all 8 of our ticketed sports. Obviously, football and men's basketball are our main focuses. So we get to work with a lot of different fans, help meet their needs, help get them out, fill the stands, and cheer on our teams. So
What do you want people here at the spring game to know about tickets? Where's the best seat for them to get?
So all of our ticket sales team is here. We got some tables on the north concourse and at the east side as well. So if you have any questions, we're more than happy to help. But we do have some seats marked out on the east side that we have available for the season. You're looking for some little orange pieces of paper that those could be your season tickets for the year. So we are kind of in our limited availability for sure, but we do have season tickets still available starting at $529 for the whole season. So.
Now, if you are a 2023 season ticket holder, the clock is ticking if you want to renew your season tickets for 2024. Melissa, I believe the renewal deadline is April 26th.
April
So we're just a
26th.
little more than a month out. Just
That's right.
tell our fans just how important it is that they better renew those pretty quick. And also for anyone who's interested in being first-time season ticket holders, really a season ticket is your only guaranteed option to see every game at Memorial Stadium this fall.
That's right, yeah. So that deadline is April 26th. If you have season tickets, definitely get those renewed as soon as possible. If you have any questions about the season, everybody's getting emails, mail, things like that. Reach out to us. We're more than happy to get you renewed or answer any questions that you got. And then getting you out to the season, like Dave said, we had a great year last year, so expecting some really full stands this season. So if you are going to come out to most of the games, all of the games, season tickets are the best way to get out here.
Yeah, 5 sellouts last year to finish the season, so it's a hot seat in Columbia. Well, anything else that you want to share with the people here or via Facebook that they should know?
I always say that if I was going to buy a season ticket, my favorite place to sit is on that east side, which is what we have open today. So I'm really excited about that. Section 104, just shout out, love it over there. Really affordable seats there. But I love sitting over there because you get to see the Mizzou team. You get to watch the Mizzou sideline. You get to see their excitement and everything. And that's just not a view that you get from everywhere. So that's, you'll find me in section 104 every game. So.
And we've got a great schedule this year, too. We've got Boston College in a non-conference game. We've got Oklahoma back for the first time since 2010. We all remember that game. You probably don't, but I do. Us from the state of Missouri might remember it. Okay, well, I was
learning,
here. I was here.
It
was a memorable game.
It
was an epic game. With Oklahoma now joining the SEC, of course. We've got Auburn here for homecoming. We've got Arkansas at the end of the year. So great schedule. We want to continue the momentum with the 5 straight sellouts we had to end 2023, and we know that the inventory of season tickets are really going fast. And great to have you here, Melissa. Your team is stationed around the stadium today on the North Concourse for anybody looking to either renew their season tickets from last year or be a first-time season ticket holder for 2024.
Don't be shy. Ask them any ticket question that you have.
Yes, we're all very talkative, so definitely happy to help out with anything that you got for us.
Awesome. Thanks for hopping on, Melissa.
Thanks for having me, you guys.
Thank you. Nikki, before we get to our next guest, our next segment, I've got a little message for you. You know that Sophia's and Addison's restaurants are great local spots to visit before or after all Mizzou home games. Addison's has 2 locations in Southwest and downtown Columbia and features over 20 beers on tap, including local brewers and, of course, their famous Nachos Bianco. So, remember, before or after the game, stop by Addison's.
And I've got for you, Raceline Alternative Energy is working for a better future in rural Missouri. They are working to restore millions of acres of native prairie plants, which can be harvested to produce highly valuable clean energy called Prairie Power. Visit them online at racelinealternativeenergy.com.
We also forgot to mention we like to take questions from our fans.
We do like questions from fans. So
Producer
if you're here,
Andrew is here today. He can take your questions. He can hand them to us. Your Mizzou Storytellers will gladly answer your questions.
And we have swag.
We do have swag.
So
we have some giveaway items today. If you have a good question for us that we can entertain, we'll address those best we can. And hopefully we get some folks up here. I know they're going to want to come up here for our next guest.
Yeah, I see our next guest.
He is here.
He
is here. Why don't he join us up here? We can move along here. We're also taking your questions on Twitter or X or whatever we're calling it these days. We do have a couple questions ready to go. And Facebook Live if you're watching this live, and we'll entertain that. All right, let's get the headset on here. There he is.
Hello. Andrew, we're working?
Good deal.
Awesome. Well,
we are joined by former Missouri wide receiver Barrett Banister. Thank you, Barrett, for joining us today. It's still weird, seeing you not be playing on the team, because we know that Barrett lettered here from 1974 to 2022. He's the longest tenured Mizzou football player ever.
It feels like that. That's what the body feels like. Still recovering.
Well, great to see you. Great to have you here. What are you up to these days? Where are you living? What's going on for you professionally?
Yeah, so I actually just moved from Fayetteville to Kansas City. So,
good choice.
Yeah, exactly. Had to get out of there. So my wife and I just bought a house in Overland Park, so we're a little bit behind enemy lines in Kansas, but
it's all right.
We're repping Missouri over there. And
you're bringing the black and gold over.
Exactly. Someone has to. And so doing some investment advising up there at V-Wealth. And V-Wealth Management, I guess is what I should call it. But, yeah, so it's exciting.
Awesome. That's awesome. Now, okay, 2017 to 2022. We were joking earlier. I was joking. But you did have one of the longer careers just because of you were here during COVID, got that extra year. Did you get an injury red shirt?
So I took a regular red shirt in 17 and then had that COVID year in 20. So I got that extra year in 2022. So.
And you really, got to span a pretty long time. A lot of changes happened here during your career, but you got to experience a lot. Just when you think back to your playing career here, what jumps out, what stands out the most, what are your favorite memories?
I think it is kind of, you look at it as a whole and from a whole timeline is, I got to meet some really good people in, Drew Lock, Paul Adams, Alec Ablin, and they kind of molded me and, brought me along, took me under their wings, and then, I was lucky enough to be able to spend 6 years here to where I was able to build really good relationships with the Brady Cooks, the Mookie Coopers, guys that are still on this team and playing. And so, I think, honestly, the coolest moment of it was, when Drink got here in 20 and, we grinded in 20, grinded in 21, grinded in 22, and, we didn't break through whenever I was there, but last year to see it all come together.
Right.
And it was just like, even though I wasn't physically there on the field, just to know that, like, all that work that, the guys that have been there have been putting it in, and then to see the D-Robs and the Brady's kind of cash in on that, it was awesome.
Yeah, I was going to ask about your relationship with Brady Cook and what it's been like to watch him kind of flourish and into the player that he is now, and to see the success he's had on the field. Obviously, you talk about your time here with him. So, this year, 10-2, Cotton Bowl champs. What is it like to watch him kind of become that player?
100%. And, so I was engaged in the winter of 2022, and I needed a place to live for 6 months. And so Brady has a place, and he needed a guy to live with. And so I lived with him for 6 months from January of 2022 to when I got married in July. And over that whole time, I would say it was one of the most fruitful experiences of just being with a dude and, getting a routine with him and seeing the way he operates. And we were doing yoga together, we were eating together, watching movies together, all this stuff. And then that whole year in 2022 to just see him, he had his ups and downs, and it wasn't just him, it was our whole team, right?
Yeah,
There was a lot,
right,
it was more issues than just that. But then to see, Drink stick with them and just be like, hey, this is what this kid can be. He can run, he can throw, and everyone in this generation just wants instant gratification,
right.
instant success. Like, it doesn't happen all the time,
It doesn't.
right?
Rome wasn't built in a day.
Yeah, it wasn't
happen overnight.
Right? I mean, he's playing and going up. This is the best league in college football, and he's going up against other guys who are coached well, other guys who have been in college for 3 and 4 years, and Brady needed that time, right?
Yeah.
And it finally it all came together, right? Offensive line, run game got going. You got Cody, who's leading the SEC in rushing, opens up play action. You get Luther moved inside, where I think he's a great natural fit in the slot, and you have Theo at X, where he can be more of a 50-50 guy. I mean, all that stuff coming together, and then now, boom, you win 10 games. And what I don't think people understand is that Mizzou had an amazing year last year.
Yeah.
And the margins are this big.
Oh, absolutely.
Mevis hits what, 62, 65?
61 and a half.
Yeah, I mean, just ridiculous. I mean, kid's incredible. And then you have a couple other games. Bauer throws up, fake punt, 40-yard touchdown, completely flips the momentum in that game. I mean,
Florida.
The margins are like that.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. And, 11-2 could have been 8-4, but those guys found a way. And, it's to Brady, to Drink, to all those guys that put in that work all year. I mean,
yeah.
It was awesome.
I would ask you, too, you were here as a slot receiver. You're here the day that Luther arrives, Luther Burton, just a freshman, 5-star freshman, all the hype and everything. And now you see him go through a season where he's an All-American. Going into this season, I mean, the guy is widely hailed as the best receiver in the country going into 2024. You saw the earliest stages, and now you get to watch him as a fan be the guy that he is. What has that evolution been like from your perspective?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been really, really cool. And whenever Luther first came in, like, he was always willing to listen, did not come in as like a 5-star big head, anything like that. Like, he put his head down and he went to work. And I think, once again, it's another, like, people just sometimes have unrealistic expectations. Luther had a good freshman year.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, he was, I think, one of the top players in the country with touches, had touchdowns, and, like, it just didn't have that explosive year until, he moved inside, which I think is a great fit for him. And, that extra year in college, he learned more, talking with Coach Peeler, just like the maturity of, like, learning this is what it takes to practice. This is what it's going to take to be that level of player that he can be, right? Because, like, what Luther did in the slot last year, it's a good thing I left when I did. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't have played near as much. But, the key is for Luther to take that success and, build on it, right? He had that sophomore year. He, everyone knows what kind of player he is. Now it's, hey, let's do it again this junior year, and let's take that next step, because, I mean, everyone knows it. I mean, he could be the top receiver off the board next year.
Absolutely.
I think that people forget that, like, the jump from high school sports to college, like, you're playing against kids that are now potentially 4 or 5 years older than you. Mm-hmm. You're playing against the best kids, not only in your area, but, like, in the country, in the best conference. And sometimes I feel like people don't realize, like, there is an adjustment. It takes time. I wanted to touch, so you walked on. You were a Burlsworth nominee. What has it been like watching Cody Schrader do what he did, and like the work that he put in and the work that you put in? Seeing the success that he had, winning that award. Just how has it been watching him and kind of knowing maybe you've had to do similar things to him to have success?
100%. And I think we got a lot win.
Yeah.
We're good.
So I think one of the things that is cool about it is that didn't happen by luck, right? That wasn't happenstance. The stuff that you saw about Cody, like after graduation, out running through every rep at practice, like that wasn't show. That's Cody. That's real. And whenever he came in spring of 2022, and he's the 4 running back or whatever he was, and to see him work his way up there, work his tail off, and like I don't think a lot of people actually realize the stuff he was playing through last year, right? Like that, a lot of guys would have said, I'm going to sit this week out. That dude was at the facility 24 hours a day making sure his body could go, and you didn't even notice it on Saturdays, right? And I mean, I'm so proud of him. And then just to see, the Arkansas ties I have and what Brandon Burlsworth was to that program, and to kind of see Cody reciprocate that for us and go win. I mean, he earned that award. I mean, there's a lot of really good Baker, Hunter Renfro, all those guys that have won that award, like they deserve it. Yeah. And Cody is right up there on that list, and he's probably the best walk-on that's ever came through this school.
What does it say too about this staff and you experience this too, that once you get in the door, it really doesn't matter who you were in high school, what it took to get you here. You just got to go out there and earn it. And eventually, if you're the guy that's deserving, you're going to get an opportunity. I mean, I don't know if that's true at every program. We're at Mizzou, so we see Coach Drink and his program, his culture up close. But what does that say for this place here?
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the story as the walk-on is you're chopping wood, carrying water, and you get there and you could do it 100 times during practice, right? Just to move up one time on the depth chart. Yeah. And all it takes is that one opportunity you get in a game. And it was AJ Ofadoe who told me this, one of my 5 receiver coaches. He said,
when you're here for 24 years.
Exactly. There is going to be some change. It was I had my first catch at South Carolina in 2018, and it was because of a culmination of things happened, and Derek Dooley had no choice but to play me. And he put his arm around me after the game, and he said, one game clip is worth 1,000 practice reps. And he was like, you just showed that you can do it on the biggest stage. Wow. And I think it's the same thing for Cody is, he busted his tail, at Truman's in high school, then at Truman State, then at practice, just to get that one opportunity, to carry football in the game that one time, or in the spring game that one time. And as soon as you show it, it's like, okay, this kid can do it. I mean, we're
absolutely,
because the coaches are putting these players on the field. Their jobs are on the line, right? They have to have trust in you that you're going to go out and execute and handle your business. And Cody earned that trust.
Yeah. You earned trust in your career, and you also earned a place in Mizzou Trivia. And we're going to give a prize away to anybody here that can answer this question. You are one of 3 players in Mizzou history. Do you know the question I'm about to ask? You're one of 3 players in Mizzou history to catch a pass in 5 consecutive seasons. Did you know that?
I did not.
The other 2 were long before your time, long before Nikki's time, I can tell you that much. So if anybody here knows who the other 2 were who caught a pass in 5 consecutive seasons, these were pre-COVID years, pre-extra years. It's pretty rare to be able to do what you did, to have that kind of longevity and that production too. It's one thing to be here 6 years, but also you were producing, and a captain, and you did all those great things, and were really, you weren't part of the 23 team, but you were part of the foundation that allowed the 23 team to come to life. So I think that's something that's sometimes forgotten about rebuilding jobs at schools. Is Coach Pinkel used to say this all the time too. When they finally broke through with Brad Smith, he learned to give a lot of credit to the Larry Smith coach guys that built that foundation for the success to be possible eventually. So if anybody knows the answer to that trivia question, who were the other 2 players before Barrett Banister to catch a pass in 5 consecutive seasons, we do have a swag bag up here, and Nikki can pick out a gift. I've got headphones on, so we need a producer.
I think you said Chase Coffin.
No, Chase did not catch a pass in 5 consecutive seasons. He wasn't here 5 consecutive seasons.
I had a honeymoon and a victory lap around this place, so
Absolutely.
it was a long time.
I want to touch on Arkansas game 2022 because what I find interesting is you're obviously from Fayetteville and you ended up here. So what was that game like for you? Your final year, it sends us to a bowl game. It's against your hometown team. I remember seeing like a lot of footage of you post game. Just you could tell it meant so much to you. So just talk to us about that game and specifically.
Yeah, I was actually talking with Ennis Rickshaw yesterday, and we were talking about the game before, which was the New Mexico State game, and it was 15 degrees freezing.
It was very cold.
And I hurt my knee. Literally, they were trying to get me 100 yards in that game, and I literally hurt my knee on like the last play that I was supposed to be in. And lucky enough, I was able to get back and play for the bowl game, but wasn't able to play that Arkansas game. And so for me, it was just like right, wrong, or indifferent. The Arkansas game just meant more to me every single year.
Of course.
Just
Yeah.
a lot of stuff happened there, and it was just, it meant more. And for me to, not have any direct impact on that and see my teammates, the Bradys, Coach Drink even before the game, just like acknowledging what that meant to me and them saying they were going to go win it for me. Not this game's never about me, but for them to say that and then to actually go do it and them being there to celebrate with me, because that honestly got me. We weren't going to get to go to a bowl game if we don't win that.
Yeah.
And I knew that was going to be my last chance to play for Mizzou if we didn't get to. And so that was just a culmination of like, wow, I'm going to get to put the black and gold on one more time. And we beat Arkansas, which is just great. And we continue to do so. And so, that was a very joyous moment, and, meant a lot to my family and everything that everyone kind of surrounded around me knowing what that meant to me.
Yeah, no. And you got to go to the game this year.
I did. It was so fun. It's honestly,
It wasn't much of a game, let's be honest.
No, it wasn't. It was a great game for
I hope
us.
it's that every year.
Yeah.
I was about to throw up that year whenever. Gosh, it feels like every single time they came up here, it was a close game. But yeah, the game in Fayetteville last year was also just so much fun to, I've really kind of enjoyed more than I thought I would have, just like not playing. I'm actually getting to cheer people on. My body doesn't hurt after every game.
You're still involved. It's just different.
Exactly. And that's the thing is like, whatever I'm doing, I just want to be a resource to these guys and just, any way that I can help them and any way that I can be involved and just stay with this university, because it gave so much to me, right? And it's full of good people. It deserves to have the success that it's had this last year. And anything that I can be involved with, whether it comes to the former lettermen, players on the team, alumni, if I can help investments, anything like that. It's just, I would love to be a part of it and cheer on the Tigers.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, now you're in Kansas City, so we expect to
know.
see you back a lot.
I know. I have way too many Kansas flags around our neighborhood.
Yeah.
I might have to go egg their house or something.
Oh, you said it. I did not, but
And
I support it.
That game's next year, right? Is that Mizzou KU? Not
down the road.
2024, 2025.
It's
I think.
Down the road. We'll see. There's the schedules might get a little wonky because the SEC
Yeah.
is.
SEC's
We're
now,
going to see what's going to happen.
So that's the one thing that I'm really excited about, because I'm kind of the new guard of I can handle the Arkansas rivalry.
Yes.
I've never gotten to experience the KU.
The
I was at
KU.
the KU Mizzou basketball game. But the football, I'm a football guy.
Yeah.
Right.
I've never
Right.
experienced KU Mizzou football, so I'm excited about that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it's like an old tradition that will not die because people still care, but like a certain generation really hasn't experienced it yet. So, but congrats to Carrick Jackson, who did get his first win over
did,
Kansas,
and he beat
and his
Kansas,
first opportunity in Lawrence the other
he
night
did,
for Mizzou
in
baseball.
Lawrence,
So
which is
go.
really
they play
great.
again Tuesday in Kansas City at
Yeah.
Kaufman.
Yeah,
So let's go
I'm-
2-0.
They're in Fayetteville this weekend, I think.
They
Yeah,
are.
they are.
They had a
They
tough
are.
one last night, but I'm hoping they bounce back today.
Absolutely.
Maybe a series one on Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
All right, Barrett. Well, we appreciate you stopping by on
Yeah.
our live podcast, first ever live guest. So
Yeah.
Anytime.
I think we figured it out. We've got a quarterback coming up after you. So,
Oh, boy.
yeah, we're gonna get moving here. But great to see
Thank you guys for having me on.
Have fun
seriously.
today.
Yeah, for sure.
Go out there, catch a pass from Grady.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll pull my
Done
hamstring.
that? Oh no, don't do that. Just stretch first. All right, thank you, sir. One of the greats of my time covering Mizzou, because that's just who he was. He was always super thoughtful and had good things to say and always interesting and a great perspective. We've got another guest here. We still encourage our fans here, if you want to answer that trivia question, go for it. I don't think anybody's going to get it, but we got the answer up here. We're happy to have our second guest. Nikki, we're going to have to make an introduction here. You do not know this man.
I know. I'm excited.
We've got former Missouri quarterback, Missouri legend, Missouri Athletics Hall of Famer Corby Jones in the house. Corby, it's great to see you.
Hi, buddy. Good to see
Great
you.
to see you. This is Nikki
Hi,
Berry.
nice to
Hi,
meet
Nikki.
you.
Corby Jones.
It's great to see you. It's great to see someone from those Larry Smith years, because I always kind of contended that's kind of my window when we were in college at the same time, that then Coach Pinkel comes in and starts having success, great success, Hall of Fame career, but I feel like sometimes your era gets forgotten a little bit. But you did so much here. You revitalized the program, going to back-to-back bowl games. You filled this stadium back up after a while when football, let's be honest, wasn't really relevant. But you were the catalyst of those teams. You and Brock Olivo and Devin West and all those guys on the offensive line. A bunch of them are here this weekend. I've seen some photos.
Yes, I have.
So welcome back. Not that you've ever gone anywhere, but what's it like to see the program where things are right now, looking back on your career and just your perspective?
It's amazing, man. I mean, you think about why. I mean, I chose to come here. I mean, granted, my dad was on staff and whatnot, but I mean, everybody thought I was. Everybody except for Tom Osborne thought I was going to Nebraska.
That's right.
Tom Osborne called me the morning of signing day and said, "Hey, I think you're staying home with your dad, but I want you to know that until I know your name's on paper, then there's a scholarship for you at the University of Nebraska." But it's one of those things that I would rather go someplace and try to change the culture, try to change the belief, than go someplace and just try to be another number. You know.
Right. Your career, so I had to educate Nikki a little bit.
Which I am more
on your career.
educated.
She is now. She was
Yes.
born in 1998, your senior year.
Yeah,
Lord.
so I was
Okay.
6 months old when you were playing. So
Okay.
I think I deserve like a little
Do you
grace.
have Google?
We
I do
did.
have
Now,
Google.
unfortunately,
World Wide Web?
here's the unfortunate part. We went on YouTube, and the first thing that came up
Katzenmoyer.
was the Katzenmoyer hit. See, he knew.
Yes.
So Nikki said we have to ask about it, and I said, no, we can't do that. But I guess we just did. You did gain 8 yards on that run.
Yeah, that was my. I know it was a big
I gained
hit,
more than 8.
but you gained a lot.
I get
More than 8?
It
Yeah.
was
It was
that-
9?
It was third. No, it was longer than that. It was. I want to say it was 3rd and 16.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, you
And-
were like
and
2
I was
yards,
cutting
a yard short. maybe.
because that was Antoine Winfield was coming down that corner, and I cutting off him. And who knows that you've got a 280-pound linebacker that's 25 yards downfield coming downhill.
I think his pads weighed like 40
Yeah.
pounds.
So yeah, man. So yeah. I mean, I made it third and 15. I gained 14.
Okay. Well, I undercut you by like
yeah,
7 yards.
I when I saw it, I said he did gain a lot. So it was.
Yeah, well,
you know.
Not quite enough.
Okay,
But,
you
hey.
had obviously a lot more highlights than just that run. So when you think back to your career, what jumps out as your just kind of favorite moments, either on the field, off the field, like the memories that just stick with you, these 25-plus seasons later?
Oklahoma State, 1997.
Yep.
We're leading, we're dominating them going into halftime. Come back out, and our offense becomes anemic, based primarily on play calling. Well, we won't get into that. We'll go to that road.
It sounds like you just did.
And so we end up trailing. They're undefeated. I think they're ranked number 12.
Yeah.
At that time, and we're on the road, and the mindset starts to set in of the guys that had been there before and kind of going, oh, here we go, and it was kind of the epitome of a culture change at that moment. Is we end up down. There's a minute 17 seconds left on the clock, and we have the ball on our 20-yard line. And I got into the huddle and I said, "Hey, anybody don't think we're going to win this game?" Because at this point, I'm pissed that we're in the position we're in. And I said, "If anybody don't think we're going to win this game, get out of my huddle." And I almost kicked one guy out of the huddle because he was tying his shoe and he wasn't looking at me. And I grabbed him and he goes, "No." I said, "That's all right. Let's go." And he ends up catching a pass. Then we got two big plays and then throw a 50-yard touchdown to Ricky Ross, who subsequently drops. We run a trick play against Baylor last game of the season, and he's wide open. It's like a freaking 65-yard bomb, wide open. He drops it, He comes back to the huddle, shakes his head. I say, hey, bro, you earned your scholarship 2 weeks ago. but he's a tremendous catch. And then we go to overtime, double overtime. We win double overtime. And that was the first. I mean, sometimes you have to do it once to know that it can be done. You know, because for so many years, the close just didn't get it done. You know,
Right.
Yeah, we're close, moral victory, whatever. Nope. But we pulled it out, and then once we did that, we went on a roll.
Yeah. The 98 team had a little bit more success, but I think about the 97 team because that backfield, there were so many options. What was it like to play? And Nikki, this is just to educate you. So Corby's a quarterback.
I know Dave. Thank you.
Okay. You had it at fullback. You had Ron James, Rhino, who I think is here this weekend.
Rhino's here.
The late Ernest Blackwell. And then, of course, you had Devin and Brock at running back. How did you keep that group happy? Because there's only so many carries and touches in the game. It wasn't your job.
my job. I wouldn't call the plays.
How devastating that group. So many different guys could have been the star, but it all worked together.
Absolutely. Because that was, I mean, you understand, man, the mentality, what we came into, when Coach Smith got here, his first year, which was my senior year of high school, he ran off a lot of guys because the whole mentality, the whole culture was wrong. I mean, it was just kind of, hey, you know what? Let's go play the game, and we can go drink afterwards. You know, I mean, it's just he wasn't having it, and so a lot of guys. Thank God I wasn't a freshman that first year at Wentworth in preseason training, because he almost killed that guys. I mean, there's so many people that talk about that as one of their hardest weeks in football, and so it was for us to go in there and know who needed the ball, know whose rotation it was. Everybody performed at their best when they got the opportunity, and that was what it was. There's no complaints, and everybody had a different skill set.
Yeah.
You know, you've got a basically a 300-pound offensive tackle playing fullback, and then you've got another fullback who is the fastest guy on the team at 6'3", 265. And then you got Brock, who is shifty and quick and smart and holds on to the ball and strong and powerful. And then Devin, who's long and is a glider and super fast. You know, I mean, everybody knew their strength set. I mean, so it all fit.
You think about college football today, all the offenses pretty much look the same, except for maybe like the Naval Academies. Everybody runs some version of the spread, and but back then you had variety, and you guys were unique in what you could do. Could that work today? You think about that?
Oh, absolutely could.
Yeah.
But the attack that we ran, I mean, it wasn't like a wishbone, like a true option attack. It was a power eye attack, and we did what we did best. Our offensive linemen were just corn-fed country boys from Brookfield, Missouri, and they wanted to, while they may not want to pass block you, they may not want to catch you, they want to fire off and hit you. So that's when you run the ball. I mean, you run the ball, you're going to pound somebody, and that's what we did. And it's assignment football. If everybody gets blocked, then you're good. And that's what our team did best.
The fake option pass is still the best play in Mizzou football history.
That was
every time.
That was so much fun.
Unless
so
the receiver
fun.
dropped it.
Yeah. Well, they didn't drop many of those because that was Lehman. That was Kent Lehman. And he's usually running jailbreak down the middle of the field.
Kids that grew up in that era would practice that, and you could still go out in the tailgates in the parking lots and see people run the fake option pass because that was the staple of those years. You watch Brady Cook nowadays, and do you watch quarterbacks? You study him because that's what you did. What have you seen from him as his evolution to now a guy who won 11 games last year as a Missouri quarterback?
I think a lot of it is confidence.
Yep.
I think confidence and resiliency. You know, as a quarterback, I've always told people, you know, if you have two quarterbacks, you don't have one.
Yeah.
And when you're the guy and someone tells you you're the guy, someone believes in you, you're the guy. I went through it my sophomore year. I mean, they were kind of jerking me in and out and whatnot. And finally, Coach Smith said, okay, hey, look, here are the keys. We're going to win or lose by you.
Yeah.
And then that's when we took off. Because as a QB, man, you can't be looking over your shoulder. You got to play. You can't be playing not to lose. You be playing to win, and that's what I saw out of him. And you know, I saw his hesitancy a lot to run last year or the year before last, and then last year now, like something opened up, he's gone.
Right.
I mean, the kid can run, and nobody. nobody really wanted to acknowledge that because he's this tall, thin white kid, but he can run.
Absolutely.
So
Well,
I kind of want to turn it over to you, Dave, because
What's
you
up?
were in school when he was playing here.
That's
So,
right.
like, what was it like being a student and watching him play?
so I was a freshman in '96, and I remember the finale. Weren't going to a bowl, but beat Kansas, and it was like, I just remember the students were dying for the next season to start. Like, oh my gosh, like this is a huge deal. Like we have a football team here now.
First play of the game, I ran an 80-yard touchdown.
There you go. Well, that helped. That helped things. But
that
was
kicks it off, you know.
I mean, I just remember then the excitement, because if you were my age and you went to Mizzou, you probably weren't expecting to like maybe be at a football school. Like, hey, we got a team. We're in the Big 8. But man, like they haven't been good for a while. And then when Corby and Devin and Brock do their thing, it's like this is going to be fun. And I just those 2 years were so fun to be a student here. And then I moved in the media side, and it was so fun to cover. There's so many personalities on those teams, as you well know. Up on whether we're talking about the defense, the secondary, had enough characters on that team, and then the offensive line, of course. It was a joy to cover, and I think you guys really appreciated that coverage too, because it's like, hey, we actually matter now. People are interested, and the fans showed up, so it was fun. That staff, I still keep in touch with some of those folks on that staff. It's a really memorable time, and I'm glad that when I hear people appreciate your era, it's really great because you guys brought this place back. You really did.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Dave. I mean, it was a joy. It was a joy to do. I mean, if I knew then what I know now, good Lord, I mean, things would have been a lot different. I mean, we could have really done some damage, but I mean, it was so. I would go back in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
I would go back in a heartbeat.
Well, the Big 8 was so good then too. You had K-State was coming up, and Nebraska was Nebraska, and we did not ask about what we were going to ask about because we don't need to remind you of what happened in that end zone because you've lived through that enough. So,
you know what? It'd be the first time in probably 2.5 days that someone didn't bring it up.
And we're not going to.
We
We're
didn't
not going
say
to.
it. We didn't say
We're
it.
not even going to talk about it because it didn't happen.
Yeah.
All right, Corby.
Crazy.
It was a pleasure, man.
Always, man. Good
Enjoy.
seeing you.
Great seeing you around.
Great meeting you.
Yes, great meeting you.
www.google.
There we go. Thanks, Corey. He was such a unique player, and he was the BMOC when I was in school here because like Mizzou has a football team now, and they've got a star quarterback, and he was a Columbia guy. He went to Columbia Hickman High School, and man, that was a great run he had, and Coach Smith, and you didn't know a whole lot about Coach Smith. I was telling you about him the other day, and late Coach Smith. But man, it was great. That era always sticks with me because that's when I started covering Mizzou.
Yeah.
So those are my first experiences as a sports writer and being around this place. So always a soft spot in my heart for the Corby years for sure. We're gonna lose my jersey here. Look at that. That's not a good sign.
So windy.
Watch out for the kickers. So what else we got? We still got some time here before kickoff.
Yeah. Well, we haven't had any game. Our game, you're right, we failed. No one has seen anyone. So
We've been so dialed into our guests.
I know. Do we want to go into questions?
We can answer some questions. I think we've got a few on social media. We've got Andrew over here monitoring our Facebook live feed. We got.
My mother said 37 minutes ago that she was watching. So
Oh,
hi,
that's
Mom.
great. Hi, Tracy. This wind is something else.
I know.
Good practice for our kickers today.
Yes.
Any suggestions for parking? That's a question we got. Wherever you can find it. We've got the state basketball tournament going on today over at the arena. So there's a lot of activity on campus today. So find a spot where you can park. Okay, I've got a good question. Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
This is from Mike. What are the plans to get Taylor Swift and Kelsey to the zoo this year? And I like the fact that Mike tagged Taylor Swift in the question. So when she is scrolling
on Twitter
through her Twitter account tonight, because she does.
Yeah, when she's doing
she's going to be like, oh, this is a good idea.
Yeah. Well, Mike, thanks for tagging her. I think that was step one, is to get her attention. Tony Daniel would probably kill me because he is not a Swiftie, but she can hit Big Mo. Like, I'll make that happen.
Okay.
So I'm putting out in the world that they can come to a Mizzou football game and hit Big Mo.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Do you think, like, what would that, like, honestly, like, can you imagine the security, the paparazzi? Like, we would be the center of not just the college football world,
Yeah.
but the country, the universe.
I know.
If Taylor Swift would come here to
Yeah.
a Mizzou football game.
But hey, like, let's dream big. And
she
make
likes
it
football
happen.
in this state.
She
that has
does
been
like football in the
established.
state. So, I'm extending the invite. If they want to come to a game, we will make it happen.
We'll make it happen. Will Matters, I think he's becoming a Swiftie. He's been watching the new concert
The movie, yes.
on Disney.
I love that.
Yeah, you watched it. He fell asleep watching it last night and then got up super early this morning to watch it. So there we go. So hopefully Taylor sees that tonight. She might even be watching the Facebook feed. You never know.
Yeah, maybe she is.
Yeah, it's not like she has anything going on. Okay. You want to get to the other questions?
Yeah, let's get to the other question.
This is from Alex. Out of all the Mizzou players from the beginning of time, what matchup would you want to see during a spring game? For example, Jeremy Macklin versus Roger Worley, Kellen Winslow versus Nick Bolton, Justin Smith versus Mitch Morris. Mitch Morris, newly signed Jacksonville Jaguar Mitch Morris, so congrats to Mitch on his new deal. I did not think about this question. I read it the other day. I don't know about a primetime spring game matchup. Jeremy Macklin against Roger Worley would be pretty good. Justin Smith was, and we could have asked Corby about Justin Smith. He was All-American defensive end here in the late 90s, early 2000s. Was pound for pound, I think, maybe the best player I've ever seen play for Mizzou in my time. He was a monster. So him against any great offensive lineman would be fun to watch.
Yeah. I'm still learning. There's just so much
know you
history. I'm trying. And you
I'm
can
here
tell
for.
the people that I'm trying. But
You are really trying.
I do the research.
And congratulations on not bringing up the 97 flea kicker game when Corby was sitting
Yes.
here.
So the funny thing is we had a history lesson a few days ago. Dave gave me a whole history lesson on the biggest games that have happened for Mizzou football.
We
which
talked fifth down.
We did talk fifth down, which I did know about the fifth down, but others that we were with did not know that.
They did not, yeah.
But yeah.
We don't need to revisit that today. Okay, here's another question from Drew Zoo. If you were choosing a dodgeball team and you could draft any Mizzou Tiger, past or present, who comes to mind at the top of your list? So what qualities do you need to be a good dodgeball player? Shifty,
Yes.
good hands.
Yeah. I think someone who can, is accurate,
There you go.
can throw the ball hard, but is smart to not, I feel like when you're playing dodgeball, there's like attack and then there's defend.
Right.
So we want someone who can think that they're going to attack, but also be spatially aware of what's going on around
Spatially
them.
aware. Listen to these big words. I like, you got to have somebody, if you catch the ball, the person's out that threw it, correct? So who has really good hands and is shifty? I think our first guest, Barrett Banister, would be an excellent dodgeball
I do too.
player.
I think Barrett Bannister would be good.
I
would
think
make
Luther
sure
Burden
he-
would be good at anything.
Yes. Yeah, we would make sure he would stretch so Barrett didn't pull a hammy, though. Who
That's
else?
for sure.
Are we thinking just football?
Drew Lock had a pretty good arm.
Okay, so
I think
Drew
he'd
Lock,
be fine.
he could be on the team.
Let's go with Corby. Was hard to bring down. Pretty
Yeah.
agile guy. He's a couple years older than me, so I don't know how agile he would be in a 2024
Dodgeball game.
game. But he's in great shape. We just saw him. Better shape than me. So I'll take Corby. He's a great leader.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good team.
Okay. That question was more interesting when I read it yesterday than when I answered it today. Okay, here we got a question from somebody here. This is a Facebook question. This is Clark's question from Metropolis, Illinois. Have you ever been there?
No.
If you drive through it, it's like little Superman town.
Where is it?
What
part of?
It's on the way back. It's between Nashville and St. Louis.
Okay. Yeah. So maybe I have actually, because I made that trip. a few times.
We have big fans there. And by we, I mean the podcast. What uniforms are the Tigers wearing today? Well, Clark, we're going to look over our shoulder here.
Well, black and gold.
We've got black and gold. So the gold team is wearing gold jerseys
Yes.
and black pants.
And
The
then
black team is way on the other side. They are also wearing black pants, but they are wearing black jerseys.
Yes. And then I believe there's maybe some new helmets.
We got new helmets today, folks. And if you're watching this or listening to this, you don't have the visual that we do, but we've got script helmets, and instead of saying Tigers, it says Missouri in script.
Yes.
Along the helmets.
We didn't mention, it looks like the quarterbacks are actually wearing white.
Yes.
So we have some gold jerseys with black pants. We have the quarterbacks in white jerseys with black pants and the white helmet with Missouri, and then the black jersey with black pants and then the black helmet. So those are we got all the
there we go. We are
today,
all covered
actually.
there. And it's good to see, looking out there now, Sam Horn is out here today. Now, he's not playing. We know he had Tommy John surgery on that right elbow. He's got his elbow and his arm in a brace there, but good to see Sam out with his teammates with the other quarterbacks today. I don't think he was drafted since he is not available to play. All right, any other questions? I cannot read my computer very well. Can you?
Oh, I'm getting told that my Grandpa Phil is watching, which is very fun because I've talked about him. He's 95 almost. So
Well, that's
that is
great.
lovely that Grandpa is watching.
Well, that's great that he's figured out technology.
Yes, I think he's with my aunt who must also be watching, which is fantastic as well. So.
What do we have here? There we go. All right. I just saw the question. Nikki, Socket Fiber is now available. The fastest, most reliable internet combined with local service and simple billing. Contact Socket today for voice, data, and internet services for your home and business. 1-800-SOCKET3 or visit socket.net.
And we are brought to you by Shelter Insurance, ranked #1 in customer satisfaction for auto insurance in the Central Region by J.D. Power 5 out of the last 6 years. Wear your shield, wear your shelter.
I'm really disappointed we haven't gotten anybody to answer the Barrett Banister trivia question.
I know, and we have some swag, but it's
we
okay.
Do.
Hey, what's the Matter family up to today?
Well, Will Matter had his last basketball game of the season. Unfortunately, it was at 11:30, so I could not make it. I've gotten some updates from the game. I got some photos, so let's see.
Did you get a video of his entrance?
No, I don't know what he did for his entrance today. Last week was a little dramatic with his entrance. He did score right away to begin the game.
Great. Expect nothing less.
Yeah, I've got to catch up on these texts, but they're going to be here at some point if they find some parking, and probably not in time to catch the end of the podcast. But look, the east side is filling up.
Yep.
And
we're about 9 minutes away.
9 minutes away from kickoff.
10 minutes and 16 seconds to be exact. But
what are you looking forward the most today to watch from this 2024 Tigers team as it's taking shape?
I think it's just exciting to have them back on the field and just to see where the progression has, been after the year we had last year. Exciting to see kind of a first look at. It's obviously super early. They've been practicing. We've got 6 months until football season, but it's always good when you can get into seeing what a preview of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. It does seem like we just got back from Dallas.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, it was a long season. And then it was a long, build up to the bowl game, and a lot has happened since then, to say the least. But man, it just got here quick. And Coach Drink likes to have early spring football so you can get into the next phase of the off season. If there are any injuries, they got a little bit more time to recover. Likes to get things done before spring break, also, so you can kind of condense all the practices and get more out of them. And I know I get asked a lot, why is the spring game so early? But it's just the way that he likes to do things. And it works out great when you have a good weather day for the spring game like we do today.
Yeah. I mean, time flies when you're having fun, so I think it's a good we had such a good time last season, and it does feel like we were just at the Cotton Bowl, but excited for everything to come in 2024.
Absolutely. And I'm happy to see the fans out because this was a magical season last year. We know that. It was obviously different for me, my first year working on the inside, being down on the sideline as part of the athletics department. And, man, it was a really great experience, and can't wait to do it all over again when we get started here on August 31st.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the concourse looks great. So we've got the east side filling up, but there's a ton of people hanging out on the concourse.
There we go. Producer Steve showing everybody on Facebook.
Yeah, look at that. Producer Steve, just to give him a round of applause. He's behind the camera, so we won't see his face. And Andrew. Producer Andrew has also stepped in to kind of take Producer Steve's place. But I do want to mention that if you are interested in buying a seat, we've got that going on behind us. We didn't talk on that, but
these
it's
are
a seat from Mizzou Arena, I believe.
Right.
So feel free to stop by on this side of the concourse and get yourself a Mizzou Arena seat.
As you know, we replaced the yellow, gold, butterscotch-colored seats, as I've heard them described, with the black seats, but we did not get rid of all of the old ones, and they are here for sale today. So come check them out. Little piece of memorabilia to put in your man cave or your kitchen, your dining room, wherever you want. Your back porch. They look great.
Do you have one?
Do I have one? What? A chair?
A seat.
I do not. We'll see what's left of the inventory when we're done here.
Put it in at the kitchen table.
We just got a new kitchen table set, so.
So maybe some Mizzou Arena chairs would look great around
we could
it.
use an extra chair, maybe.
Yeah.
When you have 3 kids, your stuff doesn't last very long.
3 boys.
3 boys too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Anything else before we wrap up?
I don't know. The wind is picking up out here.
I know. But
so no trivia answers.
No.
Should I give the answers?
Yeah. Why don't you give the answers?
So George Shorthose is one of them. George Shorthose played here from 1980 to 84. And then Lamont Downs also caught a pass in 5 consecutive seasons from 1974 to 78. So Lamont he was even before my time. I can't say I watched any of those games because I was not alive until 1978. I guess I could have watched his senior year, his 5th year.
When you were 1?
When I was not 1 yet.
So you wouldn't have had a recollection.
That's right. All right. Should we wrap this up?
Yeah, I think we should wrap it up.
It was great to see all the fans.
Yeah.
This was an adventure, trying something new. Who knows? Maybe we'll do this again in the fall.
Maybe we'll get asked to do it again.
Maybe. Yeah. This one was such a roaring success. But we do want to let's thank everybody that helped out today. Producer Steve, of course. Producer Andrew, Barrett Banister, Corby Jones, Melissa Wolf.
Yes.
Great guest. Thanks to Loretta Jones with the Letter Winners Club with hooking us up with a couple of our guests today. It's great to see so many Tiger alums enjoying the festivities this weekend. Look at that east side. It's filling up right now. So outstanding.
We're going to go grab our seats. I'm going to
should.
be on the field because actually the students are going to play some games, but
they are. So what's going to happen at halftime?
Yeah, we just like to engage the students. So we have a variety of different games, maybe some involving some of our players, but it'll be a fun little time for everyone.
Is anybody going to race the helmet cam?
Helmet cart?
Helmet car? What did I say? Helmet cam?
You rode in it today.
I know, I'm looking right at it also.
Yeah, I do think we will be having a helmet cart race, which obviously is a classic. So
I have not stretched, so I'm not up for a race today.
Oh, maybe I think you should race it now that you got
Does it have to be 100 yards long? I could do like a 40 maybe.
No, but if you were at Memphis, so you saw the guy that pulled his hammy. So
yeah, I would do.
If
That would
you're
be
gonna race
me.
it, maybe stretch.
Who's
before.
driving it for the race?
We have our interns or sometimes. I don't know. I'm never on the field because I'm always in the booth. I'll be on the field today, so that'll be new for me.
I've been in a car when you've driven before. I think you could handle it.
Yeah, no, I know.
As long as there's no curbs involved.
I only hit curbs like
Or
every
wrong
once
turns.
in a while. Yeah. I don't think I've ever taken a wrong turn. I did hit a curb when Morgan Dominic was in the car.
There we go.
Extremely.
Got her mentioned.
Of course.
Okay. All right. Well, are we going to wrap this up?
Yep.
Everyone has a beautiful story to tell as long as you're willing to ask the right questions.
This is the Mizzou Storytellers podcast live
Live
with Nikki Berry.
and Dave Matter.
Have a great day, everyone. We hope to see you here.